Well, it's definitely an early start for a lot of traders here in Asia. A lot of people have got up early to make sure and watch their exposures around what was happening in the Fed meeting. And if you have a look at the wash up of what we've seen, it's clearly that everything we've seen from the central banks, that the Fed are now fully on board with that situation. Okay, they didn't cut rates, but they've removed their patient setting. They've basically opened up the door fully to a rate cut in July. If you have a look at swaps and rates pricing, it's 100% discounted now that we're going to get a rate cut in the July meeting. Of course, the question comes in, will we see a 50 basis point cut? That's the talk on the floor at the moment. And I think really you have to go in through to the ISM manufacturing numbers. They're going to come out on the 2nd of July. We're going to see the non-farm payrolls number coming out on the 5th of July. And if that's another really weak print, of course, then we're going to be talking about 50 basis points. Of course, that's going to be reaction. We've got the G20 coming up at the end of the month, and the wash up from that, the feel-good factor between Xi and Trump will be another big situation as well. But we are seeing dollar selling. We're seeing US Treasury buying again. It's a juggernaut at the moment. There's real momentum in the US Treasury market. Those moves lower are really reverberating around financial markets. It's boosting equity markets. They love this idea of lower nominal and real bond yields. Gold is absolutely flying today. Have a look at some of our prices that we're seeing at the moment. If you have a look at gold, you can see that trading currently at 1380. It has been up as high as 1390 on the session, and so it's up 1.5% at the moment. But those lower real yields we're seeing, those inflation-adjusted yields, that dollar weakness, and really, if you want to have a look at that, have a look at dollar yen at 107.62 at the moment, trading into that lower Bollinger Band at the moment. But it does look weak. We're trading below those recent consolidation lows, and it looks like it wants to go lower at the moment. That's where the probability lies. We've seen Jerome Powell opening that door. We've got 100 odd basis points of cuts being priced into the US swaps curve over 12 months. The Fed are going to potentially be very active according to the markets, and that dollar is weakening there. But it's really gold that we've seen most of our flows in. Whether you're looking at euro-denominated gold or Aussie dollar-denominated gold, that's all-time highs at the moment. Interesting, if we have a look at the Australian dollar, not a huge move coming through in the session. But we have seen Philip Lowe, the RBA governor, coming out through today's trade. And the interesting thing there is, again, he reinforced the idea that we could see near-term rate cuts. The market's got a July rate cut in Australia now at 70%. That was about 50% earlier today. So some really interesting moves playing through. Asian equity markets, as you see from the prices here, are getting a bit of a bid playing through. Certainly in the A50 market, the CN50 up 3% on the session. The Chinese market really being the outperformer there. The ASX still honing in on those all-time highs. But also, if we look at our opening calls in Europe, they're looking pretty constructive at the moment. We've got, the UK market up 24, the DAX up about 46 points, and US stocks looking pretty good at the moment. So certainly, it's a race to the bottom in global central bank markets.